Week number 3 of high school football season of the state of Florida is upon us. And as the calendar turns to September with the promise of cooler weather on the horizon, the teams in Volusia and Flagler counties are beginning to turn up the heat and fight for local domination. After getting their first game of the year canceled, the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs finally got their season underway last week, posting a big win over local powerhouse Mainland in FPC alum Robert Paxia's first game as head coach. Meanwhile, the Atlantic Sharks are looking for some redemption of their own after getting washed out in their home opener by rain and a strong Matanzas second half. Tonight, it's Bulldogs versus Sharks as Flagler Palm Coast and Atlantic wrap up pre-district competition, and it starts right now. Live from Sal Campanella Stadium on the campus of Flagler Palm Coast High School here in Central Florida. Tonight's broadcast of Atlantic High School Athletics on MJT Sports Productions is on the air. Hello and a very warm welcome to Week 3 of Atlantic Sharks football. My name is Michael Trillo. Happy to have your company on this very overcast, rainy Friday evening in Central Florida. And without any further preamble, let's talk football real quick as the teams are already out there. Captains are meeting at midfield as we speak. The Atlantic Sharks come into tonight's matchup 0-2 after a 36-8 loss to Matanzas last Friday. The Sharks played well in the first half, going into the break down only 7-0. However, after a 45-minute delay for lightning and rain, Matanzas rattled off a safety and 2 touchdowns in the first 3 drives to the quarter to put the game out of reach in the span of about 5 minutes. The Pirates would go on to score 29 points in the second half, despite Nate Davis's 90-yard kickoff return for the touchdown early in the fourth. That gave Atlantic their first points of the season. Unfortunately, I was unable to get an interview with Atlantic head coach Jeremy Bell tonight. I will speak with him before their Atlantic's next game next week at Pine Ridge. Our hosts tonight are the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs, who are playing only their second game of the season. We will pause for the national anthem. Our hosts for tonight are the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs, who are playing only their second game of the season after their Week 1 contest against Pine Ridge, Atlantic plays next week, was canceled due to COVID contact tracing. The Bulldogs, however, were unfazed and took their frustration out on perennial local powerhouse Mainland. The FPC defense was on full display on Friday as they sacked Mainland quarterback Isaiah Shine 9 times and had 2 interceptions as the Bulldogs held on to a 17-0 halftime lead to win 17-13. Flagler relies on methodically moving the ball down the field at eating clock behind Army West Point-bound senior running back Dakota Wagner and sophomore DJ Murray, who both had over 100 yards rushing against the Buccaneers. While senior quarterback Preston Roberts only completed 3 passes, one of them was a 29-yard touchdown strike to Trent Williams in what would be the game-winning score after a 9-play, 77-yard drive. As good as the win over Mainland was, Flagler Palm Coast head coach Robert Paxia said afterwards that week 2, quote, cannot and will not be the Bulldogs' Super Bowl. More than anything, last week's game was an outpouring of emotions for Flagler Palm Coast player Nehemiah Gilliard, who was tragically killed in a car crash in February, and his Bulldog teammates will continue to honor their fallen friend throughout the season. Now it's time to get you familiar with some of the names on FPC's roster you'll be hearing throughout the night. It's time for the Week 3 edition of Who to Listen For. We start with Jason Browning, the 6'0", 215-pound senior who had 17 tackles last week to lead the team and 3.5 of Flagler Palm Coast's 9 sacks. Up next is senior running back Dakota Wagner. He's 6'1", 210 pounds. He had 111 yards on 29 carries, a touchdown run, and also picked up a 10-yard reception. And finally, in the center spot on the offensive line is Nick Blumengarten. The 6'2", 280-pound senior is the most experienced lineman on the roster, and Coach Robert Paxia will rely on him to read coverages and run that front line. We are just about set for kickoff. The Atlantic Sharks are ready to kick the ball away at the 40-yard line, but the FBC Bulldogs just right now are coming onto the field through the tarp with the green flag with the silver FPC logo on it from viewers left to right to take their places on the bench. We'll quickly go through tonight's keys to the game. For Atlantic on offense, you got to find space for your playmakers. As we saw with Nate Davis's kickoff return last week, the Sharks have great speed on the edge. The only problem is consistently creating enough space for those players to thrive. Blocking will need to be at a premium, not only from the offensive line, but from the receivers and tight ends as well. And on defense, you got to have lateral quickness at the second level. Atlantic has been solid this season stopping runs up the middle, but they have struggled when opposing backs have bounced the ball outside. The linebackers, corners, and safeties for the Sharks will have to get to the sidelines quickly to prevent big gains. For FPC, who will start on offense, they got to manage the clock with their power running game and their ability to create long drives. FPC is perfectly positioned to control time of possession. We are just about set to kick the ball off here at FPC's Sal Campanella Stadium. The Sharks are kicking left to right, and it is game on. It's a line drive kick that's fielded at the 35-yard line, up to the 40, running left side, and bounced down to the 41-yard line. That was Marion Washington on the tackle. Couldn't really see who the returner was for FPC. It was one of the up men, but it will be a decent starting field position for Flagler Palm Coast as they will start on their own 40-yard line. Out trots Preston Roberts, senior quarterback, 47 yards through the air, 1 touchdown, 1 interception last week. The Sharks will line up with 3 defensive linemen, a 3-4 look. Interesting considering that FPC is going to want to run the ball a lot. It's actually DJ Murray in at quarterback. He's going to swing the ball out to the 40-yard line near side space, across the 50, across the 45, and tripped up at the 40-yard line. A nice game of 20 yards by Landon Gonzalez, the senior wide receiver, and he takes the first play from scrimmage into Atlantic territory. It was just a little bubble screen. The blocking got to the edge, and it's a first down from the 40-yard line. FPC in all green, working right to left. Murray takes the snap, throws away down the field, and overthrows everybody. He was looking for Elijah Gilliard down the left-hand seam and overthrew him. It was good coverage by Jonquez Jamerson for the Sharks, one-on-one down the field as well. Here's the defensive key to the game for Flagler Palm Coast. They got to get pressure up the middle. Sharks quarterback John Killingsworth has been forced to scramble more times than he would like on the young season, so they got to force him to move in the pocket. 2nd down and 10, and a cross goes over the middle, and it's intercepted at the 25-yard line. It's Jonquez Jamerson. He's going to run off the left side 30, up to the 45, up to the 50, and he's going to have a caravan. He's going to be finally pulled down inside the FPC 40. How about that for a start for Atlantic? Jonquez Jamerson immediately with the interception. So a pass complete for 20 yards, an incomplete pass, and then an INT. Only a 3-play, 20-yard drive. And the Atlantic offense comes out on the floor. That was DJ Murray, who we were expecting to see Preston Roberts at quarterback, but he made a bad read over the middle and just airmailed it right to Jamerson, and Jamerson with a nice return. They're going to spot the ball at the FPC 36-yard line. So starting in plus territory for Atlantic, they run the wing T, strong side to the right. Killingsworth is under center as he usually is. And a flag comes in, and it looks like they're going to get offsides. And they're going to get offsides against. And that's the first penalty of the game for either team, and it comes for the FPC Bulldogs. So now first down and 5 at the 31-yard line. Killingsworth under center. Killingsworth takes the snap to try and run around to the right. The ball's on the turf, and it looks like FPC comes up with it. So Atlantic does nothing with the Jonquez Jamerson interception, and it's an immediate bad snap. John Killingsworth puts it on the turf, and it was just a penalty and nothing. A fumble on the first play from scrimmage for Atlantic, so it's a battle of the turnovers so far. So FPC will start their second drive of the ball game at their own 35-yard line. Handoff up the middle, and that is Dakota Wagner. And Wagner moves the pile for 9 yards, and it's close to a first down all the way to the 45-yard line. It's going to depend on the spot. How about Dakota Wagner? He looked to have the Sharks defense looked to have him dead to rights right at the line of scrimmage, but it will be a first down, 10-yard gain. Second down and 10 for FPC. DJ Murray in at quarterback. They hand it off to Wagner. Wagner breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage, falls forward again for another 10-plus yard gain. He's going to get all the way up to the 43-yard line, gain of 13, first down. A light rain beginning to fall here at Sal Campanella Stadium as the gray clouds Murray sets up the screen near side left, landing Gonzalez, and Gonzalez gets a block, and he's going to go all the way to the end zone. Touchdown FPC. There was nobody between Landon Gonzalez and the end zone, and it's a 43-yard touchdown for DJ Murray, getting the start tonight over the senior Preston Roberts. And Flagler takes an early 6-0 lead. On for the extra point is Jaden Arnett, and it's up and good. So with 10:34 to go in the first quarter, it's Flagler 7, Sharks nothing. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Flagler Palm Coast High School here in Palm Coast, Florida. The Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs lead the Atlantic Sharks 7-0 after a 43-yard screen pass to Landon Gonzalez, and he took it the distance. All he needed was one block on the edge, and there was nobody between him and the goal line. 7-0 Flagler over Atlantic. Flagler in their all green tonight. Green helmets, green jerseys, green pants. Gray numbers, white trim, gray stripe down the side. Atlantic in their silver helmets, white jerseys, black numbers, black pants, teal trim. It's a short kickoff. It's going to bounce at the 30 and be fielded at the 25. Here is Marion Washington trying to bounce it outside. He's going to go backwards to the 25 and be down right there. Excellent kick coverage by the Bulldogs. So if you missed the first 3 minutes, you missed a lot. DJ Murray threw a interception on FPC's first drive that was returned all the way up inside Atlantic territory by John Jamerson. And then on the first snap, John Killingsworth fumbled the football, was picked up by FPC, and then 3 plays and 75 yards later, they were in the end zone. From their own 25-yard line, Atlantic in the wing tee. Let's see if they can get a snap off this time against a really good defensive front. Killingsworth takes it himself, and he's going to be buried right at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to lose 2 yards. A swarm of Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs back there to make the tackle. Malik Daly was in there on the stop, as well as Skylar Gonzalez, brother of Landon Gonzalez, who just made that last touchdown. So it'll be a loss of 2, 2nd down and 12. Ball spotted exactly at the 25-yard line. Killingsworth takes the snap, rolls to his left, looks to throw. He's going to heave it up. He's got a man out there. It is caught. It is John Jamerson down the sideline, past midfield. He's going to be dragged down inside the 45-yard line. It's the John Jamerson show for Atlantic so far tonight. He has the interception and then a huge reception that time to put Atlantic in plus territory. They faked the run to the left through Killingsworth. It looked like the exact same play as the last time, but Killingsworth, right as he was about to dive forward, stepped back, threw the ball down the field, and had Jamerson running free as the safety had bit on the run. First down and 10 for Atlantic from the 47-yard line of FPC. Killingsworth the snap, it's a direct snap left to Nate Davis. Davis trying to bounce it outside, won't get anywhere, in fact, to lose 2 yards. It's going to be a rough day running the football for Atlantic because the Flagler front 7 is brutal and ruthless. 9 sacks last week against a very good Mainland team. Isaiah Shine, the Mainland quarterback, was on his backside more times than he would have liked in that game. As the umbrellas are out here at South Campanella Stadium, the rain continuing to fall down. 2nd down and 13. It's a dive to Davis, looking for a lane to the left side. He's going to be dragged down to the original line of scrimmage. She'll give him 2 yards, and it'll be 3rd down and 10 for Atlantic, right at the FPC 43-yard line as we work left, as the Sharks, work left to right here in this first quarter. 8:20 and counting to go in it, and what I think will be a fast game because both of these teams love to run the football. Now it's 3rd down, and this is where the wing tee struggles on 3rd and long like this. 3rd down and 10. Everybody stacks the box on both sides. Snap to Killingsworth, looking for a lane to run. He's going to not find anything, get back to the original line of scrimmage, and nothing more, and it will be 4th down. So Atlantic gets 1 first down on the long pass from Killingsworth to John Jamerson. And I'm not sure if Atlantic will punt here because we know their special teams aren't great, but it is a Marion Washington back there to punt it away. Fast-moving first quarter here. 7:23 and counting. A pair back at the 10-yard line for FPC to receive. A Marion Washington will do the punting for the Sharks, and a flag comes in before the play can even get started. It looks like they're going to get Atlantic for too many men on the field. Oh, excuse me. No flag on the play. Timeout.
There is no foul on the play.
Timeout Atlantic because they were about to incur a delay of game penalty. Want to get your business on the air in front of the Atlantic fans? If you would like to advertise via MJT Sports Productions, the official play-by-play internet radio partner of Atlantic High School, as a sponsor of Atlantic Athletics, please email the AHS Athletic Director Julian Doster at jedoster@volusia.k12.fl.us. That's JEDOSTER at volusia.k12.fl.us. And your business could be swimming with the Sharks. And as the official healthcare champion of Volusia County Schools, Advent Health is committed to providing championship caliber care. With 4 hospitals, 4 urgent care centers, and 6 sports medicine and rehab locations across Volusia County, Advent Health is here to keep your student athlete off the sidelines and get them back in the game. Visit adventhealth.com to learn more. 7:11 to go first quarter. Atlantic facing a 4th and 10 from the FPC 43-yard line, and it looks like they're going to go for it after they took a timeout. And FPC wasn't ready for it. They're bringing the 2 deep men up. They're scrambling the linebackers and linemen around. Killingsworth, the ball goes way over Killingsworth's head on the snap. He's going to jump backwards all the way to his own 30, going to air it out way down the field. It's going to be deflected and incomplete. Oh, it was almost caught by Jonquez Jamerson. That would have been an absolute miracle. Wow. Well, that was interesting. It's a turnover on downs. The ball went way over John Killingsworth's head on the snap, all the way back to his own 30. He just aired it out over the middle of the field. It was deflected by the deep man for FPC. I believe that was Isaiah Rivers, and it was almost into the hands of Jonquez Jamerson, who has been everywhere for the Sharks so far in this first quarter. 7:02 to go in the first. FPC takes over at their own 43-yard line. It's Preston Robertson to the ball game. Flags fly, and the play is stopped as the senior quarterback took the snap and dropped back to pass. And they're going to get Atlantic for offside. So each team has incurred an offsides penalty so far in the ball game. Last time from about this part of the field, FPC took a screen play all the way to the house. Roberts from the shotgun. He's going to air it out down the right-hand sideline. It is going to be incomplete. He was looking for Trenton Williams, and that pass was knocked away by Nate Davis. JMU, I'm not back in college. Atlantic's skill players will be playing on both sides of the football primarily, so you're going to see a lot of Jonquez Jamerson, who had the earlier interception. You're going to see a lot of Nate Davis. Kawasi Kawaku is in there at corner, the freshman. Jonquez Jamerson, Marion Washington. So after the long incomplete pass on first down, Roberts stays in the game. 3 receivers left, single right. It's going to be 2nd down and 5 from the 47-yard line, and it's a second timeout for Atlantic in quick succession. So Atlantic takes their second time out of the half. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for FPC right at midfield when we come back. This is MJT Sports Productions' broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. Live from a rainy Sal Campanella Stadium here on the campus of Flagler Palm Coast High School, this is MJT Sports Productions' broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. 2nd and 10 for the all-green-clad FPC Bulldogs as they work from right to left, as they'll start at their own 48-yard line after an incomplete pass and a penalty. Hand off to Wagner up the middle looking for running room, and he's going to be hauled down close to a first down marker, and he will get it. Past the 50 and up to the 41-yard line of Atlantic. So it'll be a pickup of 6. They needed 5. First down FPC. Dakota Wagner is a power runner of the truest sense of the word. He gets the ball and his legs just start churning. And a flag comes in before the ball can be snapped again. Not sure what this is for. The referees convene. It looks like they're going to back up FPC 5 yards. It looks like they're going to call false start on the center, Nick Blumengarten, because he stood up to call out a coverage to the rest of his linemen, I think moved too far forward before the ball is snapped. Now it's going to be first down and 15 back on Atlantic side of the field at the 49-yard line. Roberts in the gun. Wagner on his left hip. Wagner's going to get the ball, run straight ahead up the middle. He's going to be hit, but he's going to carry defenders forward and breaking more tackles past the first down yardage. He's going to get to the 30-yard line and be finally dragged down by a host of Sharks. Dakota Wagner is a monster up the middle. Just hand the ball off to him, and he'll get you first downs. That was a 1st and 15, and he broke out for about 17 and a first down. And we will have an official's timeout for a water break. So if you're listening right now, thank you for joining me on a very wet Friday night of football action. I was not supposed to be alone tonight. A friend of mine, Andy Hamilton, who does broadcasting for another league I work with and also works for the Florida Gators, was supposed to be down here and helping me call the game tonight. Unfortunately, he is not feeling well and could not be here. But we appreciate you listening to MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic High School. And I know a couple of accounts connected with Flagler Palm Coast tweeted out about us today. So if you're listening as a Flagler Palm Coast fan, kind of stayed away from the stadium tonight because of the rain, thank you so much for having MJT Sports Productions being your guide to the football action tonight. It'll be first down and 10 for FPC as the timeout comes to a close. They're at the Atlantic 32-yard line after 2 straight first down runs by Dakota Wagner. Roberts the snap. Wagner the carry. He's got a lane to the left side. He breaks a tackle 30, 25, 20, sideline 15. A flag comes in, and this one might be coming back as Landon Gonzalez took a big hold of Dennis Gaines. It was a good run by Wagner. Nothing was there up the middle. He bounced it outside, broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and continued down the field. But it is holding against against Landon Gonzalez, who has the touchdown for the opening FPC points of the game. Remember, he took a screen pass 43 yards for a touchdown on Flagler's opening drive. And after a very quick first half of the first quarter, some penalties and some incomplete passes have slowed the clock down, and now it is 5:55 to go and counting in the first quarter. They'll mark it off from the end of the run, so second down and 9 at the 30. Hand off Wagner left side. He's going to go nowhere. The Sharks were in the backfield, and Jarius Hawkins dragged down Dakota Wagner. He had help from Isaiah Toby as well, and the Sharks force a negative play. So it'll now be second down and 13 after the loss of 4. The rain starting to come down even harder now. Weird snap, screen out to the right-hand side, making a cut in the open field, getting up to the 30 and down inside the 30. I can't quite see who that was on the catch. That was Michael Crockett, number 8 on the catch. So it'll, from second and 13, it'll set up about a 3rd and 4, and this is Dakota Wagner's bread and butter. This is the 5th play of the drive. 2 first downs already for FPC. They started at their own 43. Handoff, Wagner running left. He makes a cut upfield. He gets a first down and more to the 20-yard line, and he's brought down there. So a fresh set of downs for Dakota Wagner. He continues to move the rock. Jovan Jackson was there to make the tackle for the Sharks. And this is what I talked about in the pregame show. The methodical moving of the ball down the field by Wagner and the rest of the FPC offense. Wagner off the field now. Roberts with a different back in the backfield. Roberts under pressure, going to try to turn up the middle and go. He cuts to the left-hand side, 20, has a lane, spins out of a tackle to the 15, and dives down close to the 10. Preston Roberts showing off the moves. No running back in there, no problem. Good push by the Atlantic offensive line, but there was nothing to contain Preston Roberts as he danced to the outside. Rodney Hill, the sophomore running back who had 7 carries for 15 yards last week, is into the game in place of Wagner. Second, after the gain of 8, second down and 2 inside the red zone now for the FPC Bulldogs. Spot the ball at the 12-yard line. Snap to Roberts, handoff Hill. Hill with a huge hole up the middle. One man to beat at the 5, makes a jump cut into the end zone. Touchdown FPC. A 12-yard rushing touchdown. And it is a 2-score lead for FPC. That is just a magnificent individual play by Rodney Hill. He got the ball in the backfield and made a couple of impressive jump cuts, one at the 5 and one at the goal line to get around just a pair of Atlantic defenders who looked to be in perfect position to make the tackle. Jaden Arnett on for the extra point. And Arnett with the right foot drills it up and good. So 3:37 to go in the first quarter. Flagler takes a 14-0 lead over Atlantic. This is Atlantic Sharks football on MJT Sports Productions. Stay with us. Michael Torello with you from South Campanella Stadium in Flagler, Florida. The Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs lead the Atlantic Sharks now 14-0 after an excellent 8-play drive that went from their own 43 all the way to the end zone, ending in a 12-yard rushing score by Rodney Hill. Kickoff on the way. And it's going to be fielded at the 10-yard line up to the 15, straight ahead 20. Huge hit, and down at the 25-yard line was the returner for Atlantic. And that was Nate Davis. So at the 24-yard line, this is already the 6th drive of the game combined by both teams in the first quarter. There's 3 minutes and 32 seconds left to go in this first quarter. The Sharks white jerseys, silver helmets, black pants, black numbers, teal trim, teal stripe across the helmets, and a Block A logo on the helmets as well. FBC all green at home, green lids, green jerseys, green pants, gray numbers, gray TV numbers, a gray stripe down the side, and white trim. Atlantic will spread it out now. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Ball spotted left hash, right at their own 25-yard line, going left to right. Killingsworth in the gun. Killingsworth takes the snap. Pressure immediately in his face. He's going to chuck it over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Dennis Gaines, but the pressure came off the linebacker blitz so fast that he had no time to let the route develop. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. And that's one of the things I talked about in the pregame for FPC. They've got to get pressure on Killingsworth and force him to make mistakes. That time they brought 1 extra man into the box, and it showed with a free line to the quarterback, and Killingsworth had to escape. Sharks in the huddle. Killingsworth, as he's done all season, ran to the sideline to get the play from head coach Jeremy Squatty Bell. Same formation, shotgun for Killingsworth. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, ball left hash at the 25-yard line. Killingsworth takes the snap. This time he throws the ball over the middle, and it's incomplete. That was a laser beam of a throw by Killingsworth. It was intended for Dennis Gaines again for the 2nd straight play, but he just threw it a little bit too far in front of Gaines. That time he had a little bit more time in the pocket, but the rush was coming. So you see the dilemma for Killingsworth. He's either got to take off and run and scramble, or he's got to get the ball out there too fast for his receivers. You got to get your speedsters out in space, as I mentioned, for Atlantic. 3rd down and 10, once again. 3 right, single left. 3 down linemen for FPC. Look for them to bring the house. They do. Killingsworth going to air it out to the near-hand side, and it is over the head of everybody. He was looking for Kawasi Kawaku. Malik Daly was in coverage for the FBC Bulldogs, the senior corner, who had 4 tackles and 2 passes defended last week, but I don't think he's going to get a stat in that column, as that ball was well into the Flagler bench. And 3 incomplete passes later, and the Sharks look like they're going to have to punt. Marion Washington, who's been tapped to do the punting duties tonight, stands back at his own 10-yard line. Last time the Sharks there was a fourth down. The Sharks took a timeout, then tried to go for it on fourth down, almost came up with a miracle catch, and it was deflected just out of the reach of Jonquez Jamerson. But that was when they were at the 43 of FPC. This time they're at their own 25. Low snap, bobbled. The punt is away, but the play is whistled dead. I don't see a flag. And I think they're going to say that Marion Washington's knees touched down while he held on to the football. So the Bulldogs will take over inside the 15-yard line of the Sharks. And a disastrous play. Marion Washington, it was a low snap. He was bobbling it, and his knee touched the turf. Unfortunately for the Sharks, and FPC starts in fantastic field position, spot the ball at the 12-yard line. So this is where, Rodney Hill ran it in from 12 yards on the previous play. Bulldogs looking for a 3-score first quarter. 3:16 and counting to go. Roberts looking for the back left corner of the end zone. It's going to be knocked away. Jonquez Jamerson was in coverage. The pass was intended for Cody Newton. And it's incomplete. Excuse me, that is Mikhail Zychek on the, or who was the intended receiver for FPC. Second play from scrimmage, run up the middle. It's going to move the pile forward. I couldn't see who the running back was, but the pile does move forward to the 11-yard line. They started at their own 16, and now the ball is at the 11. Third down and 5. Handoff Wagner in the middle. Plain hole. Spins out of a tackle. Touchdown FPC. Dakota Wagner had all the space and all the time he needed to just walk right into the end zone. And it's the third score of the first quarter for the Bulldogs. Just a 3-play, 16-yard dive. Bad snap, but the holder corrals it. And the extra point is good from K.J. McCabe. And it is FPC 21, Sharks nothing, with 2:42 to go in the first quarter. We'll take a short break and be right back. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. It's been a strong first quarter performance for the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs. They lead the Atlantic Sharks 21-0, courtesy of 3 touchdowns. 1 passing on a screen on a 43-yard pass and run, and then 2 short rushing touchdowns, 1 by Rodney Hill and 1 by Dakota Wagner. K.J. McCabe is on to kick it away from the 40-yard line right to left. It's a line drive kick, bounces at the 20, gonna roll to the 10. It's gonna be picked up at the 9-yard line, and a huge crunching hit inside the 15, and the Sharks will start deep in their own territory. And the Sharks, Marion Washington and John Quest Jamerson, were over in the White Hats' ear. They wanted a penalty, I think, for unnecessary roughness on Nate Davis as he took that ball and was immediately crunched down by two green-clad FPC jerseys. So they'll start, the Sharks will, from their own 14-yard line, down 21-0 here in the first quarter. We knew it was going to be tough. FPC is one of the top teams in Volusia and Flagler County, if not the top team right now after toppling Mainland. We'll see how the Mainland Spruce Creek game is getting on. We'll get you those scores from around the Volusia-Flagler area at halftime. Sharks from their own 14-yard line, ball spotted near hash right. Let's see if they try to spread it out again or they try to go wing T. They'll go wing T strong side to the left. Killingsworth under center. Killingsworth takes the snap, run straight ahead, looks for a lane, and he's going to get a few yards past the 15 up to the 18, up to, call it the 17. So gain of 3, and it'll be 2nd and 7. That's, I think, the first positive run play the Sharks have had all game. As you can really see the water from the rain starting to pool on the sidelines here at the field. This is old school football in the rain. It's a little chilly out here for a September in Florida. Put on your big boy shoes and run the ball. 2nd down and 7 from the 17-yard line, and both sides think the other moved, but that's usually offensive. They're going to call it offsides on FPC. That's the 3rd penalty of the night on FPC, so that'll take it from a 2nd and 7 and to a 2nd and a long 2. Ball spotted at the 22-yard line. Snap, direct snap, Nate Davis. Up the middle, nowhere to go. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and nothing more. 3rd down and 2 from the 21. So maybe he lost a yard. Make it 3rd down and 3 from the 21. Third down and 2. Here comes Killingsworth. He trots back to the huddle. Let's see if Coach Squatty Bell draws something up on 3rd down. How Atlantic would love a long drive here. Under a minute to go, first quarter. Clock 55 seconds and counting. Already a 3-score lead for the Bulldogs. It's going to be a dive, trying to stretch the play. Look out, going down all the way back inside the 20. They tried to do a little bit of trickeration, and the Bulldogs were all over it. A loss of about 8 yards back to the original, close to the original line of scrimmage. It was Nate Davis on the carry. 4th down, Atlantic. Last time the Sharks were in this position, they tried to punt, but Marion Washington, who was doing the punting, unfortunately put his knee on the ground. He was trying to bobble a bad snap to give FPC fantastic field position for their 3rd touchdown. The clock ticks under 5 seconds to go in the quarter. I don't think they'll snap it. They will. 1 second left. Punt gets away cleanly. It's going to be fielded at midfield. That's the end of the first quarter. Running right side. Here's Javen Santiago. Santiago gets a block, but flags are all over the place. He's going to be out of bounds inside the Atlantic 20, but there are 2 flags down behind the play. Let's see what those are. From my colleagues up here in the booth, it looks like they're going to call blindside block as the opinion. And that would be the 4th penalty of the first quarter for FPC. And it is exactly what it is. Personal foul against Flagler, so they'll back him up. 15 yards in the spot of the foul. The foul occurred at the Atlantic 43-yard line, so that will put the FPC Bulldogs all the way back. That will put the FPC Bulldogs all the way back at their own 42-yard line. And that's the end of the first quarter, so we'll switch sides and do it again. We'll take a quick break and be right back. This is MJT Sports Productions' broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. Second quarter about to get underway. Here from FPC Flagler Palm Coast High School. The Bulldogs have the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line. Handoff up the middle, penalty flags, plays whistle dead. I don't see a penalty flag actually. I don't think the referees were ready because Dakota Wagner on the handoff from DJ Murray was just gone into the second level past everybody, and nobody on the Atlantic side reacted. So we start the second quarter with a bit of confusion here. Once again, thank you for listening wherever you are tuning in from to MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football, as the Sharks take on Flagler Palm Coast here on a very wet, very rainy Friday night in Central Florida. So as we wait for everything to sort itself out, the referees are coming and talking to the FPC sideline, and now they blow the whistle, and we can get the second quarter underway after about 45 seconds to a minute of a break that we didn't need. 1st and 10 for FPC from their own 41-yard line left to right. This time a handoff to Dakota Wagner. He bounces it outside. He's got midfield. He breaks another tackle up to the 40. He's dragging defenders all the way to the 45, down close to the 30. What a run by Dakota Wagner. That's a 21-yard first down for FPC all the way to the Atlantic 31-yard line. And the Sharks have just had no answer for the offensive front for FPC, and especially Dakota Wagner. He is just a power back of the highest order. We've seen Rodney Hill in the game a couple of times for the Bulldogs, making people miss and dancing around. Dakota Wagner just runs through you. He's going to get the ball again, but this time he's going to be tripped up and fall forward to the Atlantic 29-yard line. Gain of only 3, 2nd down and 7. Into the second quarter here, 21-0 Flagler Palm Coast. 11:15 to go in it, and the Bulldogs looking to try and extend their lead as the rain pours down. Handoff, no, it's going to be a play-action pass over the middle, caught, 25-20, left side 15, spun down at the 15-yard line after a screen pass was Mikhail Zychek, but a flag does fly all the way back at the 27-yard line. It looks like there's going to be holding. And this is something that head coach Robert Paxia, in his first season with FPC, is not going to be happy about. That's the 4th penalty on the Bulldogs so far tonight. And a couple of them have been penalties like this, a blindside block on a punt return earlier, 2 holding calls, a false start, and have really hurt the Bulldogs. They could have 28-plus points right now. So they're going to actually call for a legal block in the back. It's going to be a penalty from where the spot of the foul is. So 2nd down and 10. Hand off the middle to Rodney Hill. Hill goes nowhere. Actually, he'll fall forward to the 29, so a gain of 2. 3rd down and 8. It's been all runs for FPC so far on this drive. Backup quarterback, sophomore DJ Murray is in. Splitting time at under center with Preston Roberts. Murray in the gun, handoff to Hill. Hill's going to be dragged down from behind, right at the 30-yard line, loss of 1. Excellent job by the left-hand side of the Sharks defense. Getting back there was Isaiah Toby, and he made the stop, dragging Hill down, Rodney Hill down from behind. Murray looks to the sideline to get the play. There are 2 receivers spread out to the right, one all the way to the left on the left hash, or the left sideline. Ball spotted right in the middle of the field. 3rd down and 8 from the 30, and Atlantic jumps. That was Omar Fateau, the defensive end, and he clearly jumped into the neutral zone. He wanted to get back there and give the quarterback a piece of his mind, but you got to wait for the snap, and that'll take it from a 3rd and 8 to a 3rd down and 3. From the 25-yard line, got to get to the 22 for a 1st down. Back to pass, Murray, plenty of time, rolling to his right now, being chased. Gets to the 30-yard line, just throws it up and out of bounds, and a flag comes in late. Murray was being chased by Isaiah Toby, who has done a good job of disrupting proceedings in the backfield for Atlantic. But we will check what the flag is, as both Toby and DJ Murray were down, and they're going to call late hit against FPC. So another penalty, the 5th of the ball game in the first half, will likely end this drive for FPC, as that might push them out of field goal range from KJ McCabe. They're actually going to call blindside block. The penalty will be declined, so it'll be 1st down for Atlantic. That was 4th down, my bad. So Atlantic takes over at their own. Atlantic takes over at their own 28-yard line. 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go, 2nd quarter. Let's see if Atlantic can put a drive together. They've had a couple of big plays. The interception by Jonquez Jamerson, the big one, and there was a run by Nate Davis. But apart from that, they haven't really been consistent. 3 receivers to the right, single left, ball spotted right in the middle of the field. It's going to be a handoff up the middle, and not being able to break away at all is Jamoris Rittman into the backfield and immediately barged down for no gain by the defensive front for FPC, led by Garrick Schwartz. Garrick Schwartz, 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception last week against the Mainland Buccaneers. He was the star of that defensive performance. 2nd down and 10 now. Actually, they'll give him a yard loss, so 2nd down and 11 from their own 27-yard line. Snap to Killingsworth, who's in the gun. He takes it himself around the right-hand side, makes a man miss, but makes another man miss. 30, right-hand sideline, 35. Slipping down to the 34-yard line is Killingsworth, so it will be 3rd down. And I think that was a little bit of the rain there for Killingsworth. He made a nice move in the backfield to get free. That was just a run-pass option, and neither one of them was good, so Killingsworth just ran around the outside and picked up 8 yards. So now 3rd down and 3. And he probably would have had the 1st down, but he looked like he tried to make another move and just slipped. So the Sharks, for now, abandoning the wing tee and just going spread offense. 3 left, single right, hand off middle, looking for a lane and finding it right up the middle. There goes Jamoris Rittman, and he's going to be tackled inside FPC territory at the 49-yard line. Finally, an Atlantic player gets through the first line of the FPC defense, and Jamoris Rittman shows off the wheels. 1st down, Atlantic, for the first time since their 2nd drive of the game. Remember, their 1st drive was only 1 play. They fumbled it on the opening play and gave the ball right back to FPC. 7:35 to go, 1st quarter, and the Sharks now with a decent drive going at the 48-yard line of Flagler Palm Coast. They'll continue the spread now. Twin receivers each side, and Killingsworth drops the football, and it's on the ground, and the Bulldogs have it right at midfield. Another disastrous handoff attempt as Killingsworth tried to put it into the belly of Jamoris Rittman. The ball popped free, and it's Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs. No, it's not FPC ball. Atlantic somehow recovered it. Well, it was momentarily FPC football, but somehow somebody in a white shirt and silver helmet got back there and got it. So loss of 2, 2nd down and 12, right at the 50-yard stripe. Sharks, silver helmets, white jerseys, black pants, going right to left against FPC in all green. Killingsworth in the gun, takes the snap, hands it off to Rittman. Rittman trying to work his way to the left-hand side. He'll get 1 up to the 49-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 11. So it's been 5 plays so far on this drive, all runs for the Sharks, but all runs from the spread offense with Killingsworth in the shotgun, which is not what we're used to seeing from Atlantic this season. Usually it's wing tee, put everybody on the line, and just try and bowl over people, but they've decided that they want to try and spread the FPC defense out. They can't get through the first level strength on strength. And now it's 3rd down. 6:28 and counting to go first half. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 3rd and 11 from the 49-yard line of FPC. Killingsworth back to pass. He's going to air it out down the right-hand side. There's a receiver out there. It's incomplete, but a flag does come in. The flag down. Malik Daly was in coverage, and the pass was intended. I'm trying to see who the intended receiver was. It was a Marion Washington running stride for stride with Malik Daly, and it will be pass interference, it looks like. So another penalty for FPC, and another extremely costly one. Another 15-yard Another 15-yard penalty, 1st down Atlantic. And this is Atlantic's deepest foray into FPC territory so far in the game, with 6:16 to go in the first quarter. Spot the ball at the FPC 34-yard line as Atlantic works right to left. 2 receivers each side. Rittman in the backfield alongside Killingsworth, who's under center. 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers for FPC. FPC brings the house. Killingsworth evades it and goes right up the middle. There's a big hole. Up to the 30-yard line. He's going to be barged down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. John Killingsworth with a terrific run-pass option, or I guess triple option kind of set, where he could have kept it, he could have handed off, or he could have passed, and he kept it, and there was a huge hole right up the middle, and he shows off the wheels, gets down to about the 18-yard line, and now Killingsworth is down because he took a huge shot at the end of the play. I don't think there will be a penalty for targeting. There's no flag down on the field. I don't think he was attempting to slide or give himself up. He was just hard running right down the middle of the FPC defense, and he is now hauled to his feet by the Atlantic athletic trainers. Sharks fans, football season is finally back, and you can catch the action from the gridiron on MJT Sports Productions, the official play-by-play home of your Atlantic Sharks. Be sure to like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter, all at MJT Sports Productions, so you don't miss a moment of the action. Let's go Sharks. Once again, thank you to everybody listening tonight. My name is Michael Cirillo, happy to be guiding you through this evening's high school football contest from a rainy Sal Campanella Stadium on the east coast of Central Florida. The Sharks are driving. 2 big FPC penalties on this drive have put the Sharks in striking distance at the 18-yard line of FPC. And there was a timeout for an injury after John Killingsworth scampered for a 1st down. It's been all runs for Atlantic on this drive except the 1 pass on 3rd and 11 that was called pass interference against Malik Daly that extended the drive for Atlantic back when they were at midfield. Then 1 play later, Killingsworth on a triple option play, or I guess it was more of a read option play, took the ball right up the middle. It's now Kawasi Kawaku in at quarterback, the freshman. Kawaku bobbles the snap, and he's going to dive on it back outside the 25-yard line at the 26. So that's not a good look for the freshman quarterback into the game. This is the second time we've seen Kawasu take snaps this season. The first time was week 1 against New Smyrna Beach when he was in for Killingsworth when John Killingsworth was injured at a couple of points in that game. We'll see if we see John Killingsworth back on the field for this next snap. It'll be a loss of 6 or 7. It'll be Killingsworth, it looks like, back in the game. 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. Killingsworth the snap. Plenty of time. Now he's going to take off and run. Makes a cut up the middle. It's dragged down back near the original line of scrimmage to the 19-yard. At the 20-yard line is where they'll spot it. And so it'll be 3rd down and 11. Still. Atlantic does start with the ball in the second half, but they'd love to punch it in now. 4:55 to go in the first. 3rd down and 11. Killingsworth evades the rush, evades a second rush, now scampers to the left side, 20, tripped up at the 15, trying to get to the first down yardage. He's going to be short, and he's going to be well short at that. And he's going to be taken down at the 14-yard line. Needed to get to the 9 for a first down. 4th down. 4th down and 5. Killingsworth has just been forced to scramble and use his legs. It's another run. That was the 10th play of the drive for Atlantic. They started all the way back on their own 28-yard line. And this is probably aided by a couple of FPC penalties, mind you. But this is probably the best offensive drive that Atlantic has put together all season, and they've done so out of the shotgun with 3 and 4 wide. Not what we're used to seeing for Atlantic, and it looks like Atlantic is going to take their 3rd and final timeouts of the first half with 3:58 to go in it, and the Sharks facing a 4th down and 5 at the 14-yard line. Advent Health is here for you and with you during every kickoff, every touchdown, and every season to support you physically, mentally, and spiritually in this game called life. Advent Health is on your team. They're your biggest fan, and they're here to help you feel whole. Advent Health is a proud supporter of Volusia County School Athletics. Visit adventhealth.com to learn more. We'll take a 30-second break and be right back. This is MJT Sports Productions' broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. Back at Sal Campanella Stadium in Flagler, Florida. It's 4th down and 5 for the Atlantic Sharks. They've driven deep into FPC territory. They're at the 14-yard line. They need the 9. And they don't really have a kicker. Marion Washington kicks, but he's not great at field goals, so they got to go for it on 4th down. Snap to Killingsworth. He's going to throw over the middle for the slant. It's caught at the 10-yard line, falling forward to the 9. That's a first down for Atlantic, all the way down to the 4-yard line. That's Chris Pinckney on the catch, the 5'10", 150-pound junior. First completed pass of the drive for Atlantic. 1st and goal from the 4 for Atlantic. This is the closest the offense has been to putting it in the end zone all season long. Can the Sharks cash in? Before the end of the half, 3:37 to go and counting in it. Killingsworth in the gun. 3 receivers go all the way out to the right, 1 to the left. Ball spotted left hash. Sharks attacking the end zone to listeners left. In the backfield is Jamoris Rittman. From the gun, snap, fakes to Rittman. Going up for the left-hand side, slipping at the 2-yard line, diving for the goal line, down at the 1 is Killingsworth. He faked the handoff to Jamoris Rittman, took it around the left-hand side and barely didn't get in. It's going to be 2nd down and goal. 2nd and goal from the 1 after a huge 4th down play. To extend the drive, it was just a slant pattern over the middle that was caught by Chris Pinckney. 2nd and goal from the 1. They'll spread it out again. This time, Dennis Gaines is back there with Killingsworth. Killingsworth hands to Gaines, trying to cut back against the defensive front, and FPC is all over it. Excellent defensive stand at the 1-yard line, pushing Dennis Gaines back to the 2, and it's 3rd down and goal. Now 3rd and goal from the 2. And of all the places I would think that Atlantic would go back to a wing T style look, it would be here inside the 5 to just try and see if you get a hat on a hat and sneak Killingsworth underneath. 3rd down and goal from the 2. They'll spread it out again. Again, it's Gaines in the backfield. Killingsworth takes the snap, looks to throw, now runs to the left, tries to get around the outside at the 5, and he barged down at the 4-yard line. A flag comes in from the white hat behind the play all the way back at the 15. Killingsworth was down on the 4, would have made it a loss of 2 and a 4th down and goal at the 4. We'll see what the flag is. And it looks like it's going to be against Atlantic. It's going to be holding, and that's tough. So it'll take it from 4th and goal at the 4 to 3rd. It'll be 3rd down and goal at the, should be about the 14. They'll spot it at the 13-yard line, so they gave Killingsworth a generous spot. It'll be 3rd down and goal. So rub out the run. This will be the 14th play of this drive, longest drive of the season for the Sharks. 3rd and goal from the 14. Killingsworth with Gaines in the backfield. Killingsworth back to pass. He's going to throw it over the right-hand side. It's going to be intercepted at the 5-yard line. Killingsworth aired it out, looking for Jonquez Damerson down the left-hand side, and it's intercepted at the goal line by Elijah Gilliard. Elijah Gilliard ends the best drive of the season for Atlantic with an interception. 7 minutes came off the clock during that drive, which makes it closer to halftime. Only a minute 40 left to go in the first half as Flagler Palm Coast takes over at their own 2. But if you're FPC, you just hand it off to Dakota Wagner, who is in the backfield. Who is in the backfield. Roberts under center, going to handle Wagner up the middle. Not much room to run. Wagner is going to get to the 6. So a 4-yard gain. And it'll be 2nd down and 6. At this point, I think Flagler just wants to get out of the rain. The rain actually has stopped here at Sal Campanella Memorial Stadium. Once again, Roberts under center, Wagner in the backfield. It's going to be a fullback handoff up the middle. Space to run up to the 15-yard line, 1st down and more. Moving the pile up towards the 20, and finally breaking free and scrambling down. Up to the, well, they're going to stop at the 20-yard line. That was Rodney Hill. No, excuse me, that was, as I read my roster here, Michael Stevens, the fullback, on the carry. 48 seconds to go until the half, so I think the Bulldogs just have to snap it one more time, and then they can head into the break. They will snap it, hand it off to Wagner, left-hand side. He's wrapped up immediately and pulled down after a gain of about 5 up to the 26-yard line. And that will be the end of the first half unless FPC calls timeout with 23 seconds left, and they do. So first time out of the half for Flagler. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. They're at their own 22-yard line with 29 seconds left. Maybe they're going to ask Preston Roberts to try and air it out to see if they can sweeten the deal before the end of the half. It's 21-0 FPC. We're going to take 30 seconds and be right back. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. 29 seconds to go first half. Preston Roberts drops the snap at his own 20-yard line, going to take off and now throw down the field. He's got a man in the right open, and it's dropped. Daniel DeFalco was out there at about the 35-yard line and just had the ball bounce off his hands and incomplete. That only took about 5 seconds off the clock, so it's 23.2 seconds to go in the half. That was an interesting play because Preston Roberts dropped the snap, then had to roll to his right. Roberts claps his hands and forces movement on the Atlantic defensive front. Once again, it's Omar Fateau and Caesar McCoy that are too edgy out there for the Sharks. So move it up 5 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Unless that's a first down, and it is. It just barely gets ahead of the line to gain, which was at the 30.5-yard line. Spot the ball at the 31. That's only the third penalty on the Sharks in this first half. So with 23 seconds to go in the half, Roberts in the gun, 3 receivers, 2 left, single right. Roberts the snap, gonna pull it in the belly of Dakota Wagner. Wagner up the middle and more, and he's gonna fall forward past the 40, all the way to the 44-yard line. It's gonna be a 12-yard gain, and a first down for FPC. Clock stops for the first down with 18 seconds left. Will FPC take their second timeout? They will. So a second timeout with 15.5 seconds to go. FPC takes their second timeout of the half. And we will wait. A heavy discussion going on between head coach Robert Paxia and the offensive unit for FPC. Jake Blumengarten down there. And the only thing that I can think of that Flagler is about to do here is just try and take a shot to the end zone, maybe get one more play to try and get into field goal range or something, but they haven't been managing the clock well if they're trying to do that, because they've been running the ball with Wagner for 12 yards when now they're at their own 45-yard line with 15 seconds to go. This drive did start at their own 2, so they've been impressive moving the ball, but doesn't look like they're going to have enough time to get the ball down towards the end zone or even into field goal range without a bit of a Hail Mary here. 15 seconds to go. From the 45-yard line, Roberts takes the snap. Got to throw to his right-hand side underneath. Has a man out there. That's Landon Gonzalez. Gonzalez breaks free 40. Up to the 35. Pushed out of bounds. Pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line of Atlantic. That was Jovan Jackson who made the stop, and now we're approaching field goal range for KJ McCabe. First down stops the clock. Let's see if FPC calls their third and final time out of the half here, or they'll just take a shot at the end zone. 7.3 seconds to go first half. FPC at the Atlantic 36-yard line. Roberts in the gun, 4 receivers and twins. He takes the snap, he throws over the middle, it's complete at the 20, and cut down at the 15-yard line. Ball comes out. It's recovered immediately by Javen Santiago. And there's 0.7 seconds on the clock, and they're definitely in field goal range to roll out KJ McCabe. And FPC takes their third and final time out of the half. Well, how about that? FPC, with just over a minute left in the half, they could have just taken 2 knees and gone into the break. They drive all the way down inside the Atlantic 25-yard line. They're going to be at the 21. And with 0.7 seconds left, they're going to have a chance to either take a shot at the end zone or kick a field goal. I'm looking for number 26, KJ McCabe. He's the kicker. Right now, I don't see him out there. Atlantic is running towards the locker room. So the Sharks think the half is over. The white hat official is talking to head coach Robert Paxi right now, who is irate. They think they have 0.7 seconds left. The clock shows that they have 0.7 seconds left, but Atlantic's off the field. They're already in the locker room. Head coach Squatty Bell has said, we're gone. It's halftime. And that's it. The referee hands the ball to Robert Paxia. Oh, they're going to put... That's the end of the first half. So FPC, after all of that, does not get a chance to score a field goal or a touchdown at the end of the half. There is still discussion with the referees going on between Robert Paxia and Preston Roberts and the white hat official around the 30-yard line near our broadcast position. But that's the end of the half. It's 21-0 Flagler Palm Coast. We'll take a bit of a break and then be back with halftime recap and scores from around Volusia, Flagler County. You're listening to Atlantic Sharks football on MJT Sports Productions. Stay with us. Live from Sal Campanella Memorial Stadium here in Flagler Palm Coast. The Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs lead the Atlantic Sharks 21-0. We are at the half. Quick rundown of the scoring and drives. There were a lot of them in the first half, especially in the first quarter. On the first drive, it was just 3 plays and an interception for FPC as Jonquez Jamerson took the ball back to the 36-yard line, and Atlantic started in plus field position on their opening drive. Unfortunately, it was a bad snap, and John Killingsworth coughed up the football on the first play to give the ball back to Flagler Palm Coast. 3 plays later, there was a 43-yard screen pass for the Bulldogs to get on the board as Landon Gonzalez streaked down the left-hand side for 6 points. After a turnover on downs by Atlantic, a 66-yard rushing drive by, it was like all rushes except for one on a drive by Flagler Palm Coast, ending in a 12-yard rushing touchdown by Rodney Hill. Then Atlantic got the ball back deep in their own territory, had to punt on a 3-and-out, but unfortunately on the punt, Marion Washington bobbled the snap and put his right knee on the ground, so the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs started at the Atlantic 16-yard line. 2 plays later, an 11-yard touchdown run by Dakota Wagner for his second of the season put the Bulldogs up 21-0. That was the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Atlantic had their best drive of the game, aided by a couple of Flagler Palm Coast penalties. They took the ball from their own 28 all the way down inside the 2-yard line. Atlantic quarterback John Killingsworth had a chance to punch it in the end zone, but was run out of bounds at the 2 after a penalty that pushed them back to the 14. On 4th down and goal, Killingsworth threw an interception at the 2-yard line to end the drive. But by far the best drive of the season for Atlantic, showing consistency in the offensive side of the ball. But what the most surprising thing about that drive for me was that they did the entire thing pretty much from the spread and with Killingsworth in the gun and not the wing T that we are used to seeing from Atlantic for the first 2 games of the season. Killingsworth has had no time to throw. The defense for Flagler has been in his face, but he has scrambled very well, made moves with his feet. He's gotten the offense involved. Nate Davis has a couple of carries for good yardage. I've been very surprised by Jamoris Rittman, the senior running back into the game. Had a couple of good plays on a dive, including a 20-yard run on that long drive to get the ball across midfield. After the interception, Flagler Palm Coast started on their own 2, but drove all the way down inside the 25-yard line, of Atlantic, but the time ran out before they could call their final timeout or run their field goal team out there. So that is the 21-0 scoreline, Flagler Palm Coast over Atlantic. Here are some scores from around Volusia, Flagler County to entertain you. Here's what's going on around the area. New Smyrna Beach is an 8-0 lead over Father Lopez. That's at halftime. Also at halftime, Mainland on top of Spruce Creek 3-0 in a defensive battle. Pine Ridge all over Palm Beach Christian late in the second quarter, 34-0. Deltona is blanking Matanzas 20-0 in the second. Clearwater's Academy is beating DeLand 24-7. That's also close to halftime in the second quarter. And Trinity Christian and Faith Christian, still no score in that game, as that one is just getting underway. The clock says there are 5 minutes and 49 seconds counting, 5 minutes and 49 seconds of counting until the third quarter begins. We'll be back with you when it does. You're listening to MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. Stay with us. Back at Sal Campanella Stadium here in Flagler Palm Coast, Florida, the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs lead the Atlantic Sharks 21-0. Just getting ready for the start of the second half. The Atlantic Sharks will receive the football. The Palm Coast Bulldogs got the football on the first possession of the ball game and immediately threw an interception. Unfortunately, that Atlantic could not capitalize on. Flagler's got a 21-0 lead, and they got that lead pretty easily in the first quarter with 3 touchdowns. Well, it was 2 in the first quarter and 1 right at the, it was all 3 in the first quarter, excuse me, as I look at my drive chart. Yeah, all 3 in the first quarter, and then the second quarter really was taken up by that 13-14 play, 80-yard drive for Atlantic that took up most of the second quarter. Flagler only had 2 drives in it. So we are just about set to go. Second half of action on tap. The Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs in there all green. Green helmets, green jerseys, green pants, gray shoulders, gray numbers, white trim, gray stripe down the sides. They'll kick it off from right to left. Nate Davis is all the way back deep to receive. Marion Washington is back there as well. The kicker is KJ McCabe. He's got the ball set at the 40-yard line. The whistle goes from the referee, and it's game on. Back for the second half of action here between FPC and the Sharks. Ball taken to the 10-yard line. 15, middle, 25, and right down to the 26-yard line. It looked like the returner who, I'm trying to get him to turn his back to me. There's Nate Davis on the return up to the 26-yard line. And it'll be Atlantic first and 10 to their own 26. They go left to right. Silver helmets, white jerseys, black pants, black numbers, teal trim, a teal and white block A across the helmets. Across Flagler Palm Coast helmets, I forgot to mention, on one side is their number in white. On the other side is the FPC Bulldog logo. John Killingsworth back out there at quarterback. We'll see what formation they start to run. And they're going to run spread. 4 receivers in the formation, 3 to the left, 3 to the far side left, 1 to the near side right. Clap of the hands from Killingsworth. He takes the snap, drops back to pass. Plenty of time. Now the rush comes in late. He's forced to escape. Backpedaling to the 15. Gets the pass away as he's dragged to the ground at the 10. And that's an incomplete pass. John Killingsworth, 3 flags come in very late. 1 way behind the play and 2 in the secondary. I'm not sure what that was about. It looks like FPC wants intentional grounding, but that can't be what all 3 flags are for. And I can't think that it would be intentional grounding either, because it looked like there was a receiver near the ball. It looked like Dennis Gaines was in the area as Killingsworth just tried to shuffle it to him. They are going to get intentional grounding. So that's a tough penalty for Atlantic to take, their 4th of the night. And that'll back up the Sharks. That'll be loss of down and a spot foul. So that'll spot the ball all the way back at the 10-yard line. Original line of scrimmage was the 24. So that's a loss of 15 yards. Oh, no, they're going to, and it's penalty from the spot of the foul, loss of down. So it's going to be half the distance to the goal from the 10. So it is now second down and a country mile. Ball spotted at the 5-yard line. First down and 30. Got to get to just past the 35-yard line. They've got the ball at the 5. Well, a more disastrous start to the second half I couldn't have imagined. Well, last week was pretty bad as the Sharks gave up 3 scores in 5 minutes to Matanzas after only trailing 7-0 at the break. 3 receivers to the left, single right, ball spotted left hash. Killingsworth throws it across the middle. That pass is caught at the 15-yard line by Dennis Gaines, and Gaines falls forward up to the 17-yard line. Good play on second down after the penalty. So it'll be third down and very long. Got to remember, got to get to the 36-yard line and they've spotted the ball at the 21-22. So if I know Atlantic, and well, I pretty much know Atlantic, I've watched every snap of every game for the past 2 seasons. It just looks they're probably just going to go route down the sideline and see if one of their receivers, probably a Marion Washington, who's going to be in one-on-one coverage against Malik Daly to the right-hand side of the formation, can make a play. 3 receivers to the right, as I mentioned. Washington against Bailey at the bottom side. Killingsworth forced to roll to his right. He's going to throw down the field. It's caught at the 25-yard line and tackled well short of the first down. Is the receiver out there. Well, good extension of the play, and to get the ball to Kawasi Kawaku. But it's going to be 4th down and 10. They've got back to the original line of scrimmage at the 26-yard line. They're officially going to call it 4th down and 9. They're at the 27, and the Sharks will punt it away. Javen Santiago is back there to return along with Elijah Gilliard. Clock churns. 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, so 2 minutes off the clock. Snap to Marion Washington. That's an excellent punt. It's going to be fielded at the 40. Here is Elijah Gilliard at the 40, running left, breaks a tackle midfield, has blockers in front of him, 45-40, left side 30, has a corral. He's going down the sideline, tiptoeing down inside the 10-yard line. A flag does come in late behind the play at about the 20-yard line. So this could be holding against FPC or a blindside block, and it might be another penalty that takes a big play away from the FPC Bulldogs. It's happened a couple of times tonight. Now twice big returns for the Sharks, or excuse me, for the Bulldogs have been taken away. Here's the call. Personal foul against FPC. We'll walk it back. Elijah Gilliard caught the ball at the right hash mark at his own 40-yard line, made a man miss right there, scampered in space to the 50 cross field to the near side left numbers, tiptoed out of bounds all the way down, tiptoed all the way down the sideline, finally pushed out of bounds inside the 10, but the penalty will push the Bulldogs back to the Atlantic 35-yard line, still in plus territory. Second time the Bulldogs have started in plus territory tonight. The first time was when they started at the 16-yard line after the failed punt by Marion Washington, where he accidentally put his knee down after receiving a bad snap. And that on that drive, Flagler started at the 16 of Atlantic and put 3 plays later, put the ball in the end zone. This time they'll start at the 35-yard line. So it'll be DJ Murray in at quarterback. Dakota Wagner in at running back, the commit headed to Army. 4 receivers in the formation, 3 to the right, 1 to the left, ball spotted left hash. Murray takes the snap, hands to Wagner right up the middle, makes a cut, has an open lane to the 30, to the 20, and he's dragged down inside the 20 all the way to the 17-yard line. That'll be about a 15-yard pickup and a first down for Dakota Wagner. He just makes one cut in the backfield and completely wrong foots the entire offensive front 7 for Atlantic. He's done it all night. He could do it with a little bit of shiftiness, or he could just power through you. And that time he shows off a little bit of the moves as he made a jump cut in the backfield. Murray, the handoff, Roberts running left. No, Murray keeps it. He's going to throw a screen pass out to the far side. Caught at the 10, dragged down at the 6-yard line. First down and goal, FPC. DJ Murray, I thought he was going to put it in the hands of the running back, but he took it from Dakota Wagner. He rolled out to his right. He hit a receiver on a screen pass. And it's now first down and goal at the 6-yard line for FPC. They already lead 21-0. 9:03 and counting to go in the first quarter. Looks like Murray is still in there at quarterback. Dakota Wagner, the running back. Wagner had a touchdown in the first half of the rushing variety. Let's see if he gets him another one. Murray gonna hand it off to Wagner, up the middle. Nobody's gonna touch him before he rumbles into the end zone for an FPC touchdown. Dakota Wagner caps off a three-play, 35-yard, a four-play, three-play, 35-yard rushing touchdown. So from 6 yards out, Dakota Wagner has his second rushing touchdown of the night. McCabe is on for the extra point. It is up. It is good. And with 8:38 to go in this evening's third quarter, it's Flagler 28, Atlantic nothing. We'll be right back after this. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. Bulldogs take apart the Sharks defense on that last drive. They lead it 28-0, courtesy of a three-play, 35-yard drive punched in by a 6-yard rushing touchdown by Dakota Wagner for his second of the ball game. KJ McCabe is back to kick the ball off. He lets it go. It's a line drive kick that bounces at the 30-yard line. It bounces all the way to the 10. It's muffed. It's finally picked up. And Atlantic's not going to get much. Well, wait, an escaping down the left-hand sideline is the returner, and he gets barreled out of bounds, takes a huge hit near the 30. That's Nate Davis on the return, but the Sharks are happy that they have the football because Nate Davis fumbled the rolling ball back at the 10-yard line and then somehow found a way through a bunch of green jerseys, scampered down the right-hand sideline all the way to the 30-yard line, and that's where the Sharks will start with the ball. Nate Davis is probably the fastest player on this Atlantic team. Also runs track for the Sharks. Has a sub 10.7 100-meter time. So if you get him in space, as we saw last week on the 90-yard kickoff return, he will rumble. Up the middle, there goes Davis on a draw. He gets 2 yards before he is badgered down. That was Garrick Schwartz, the defensive end, on the carry. Pickup of 2, and that'll be 3rd down and 8 at the 32. And I think one of the things Atlantic wants to do is just control the ball, try to burn some clock. 28-0 already, and we've already seen that the offense of FPC, especially with Dakota Wagner, getting all the space and time he needs up the middle to just run it down Atlantic. The Sharks need to give their defense a rest, so they're going to need a drive here. Gain of 2 on 1st down, 2nd down and 8 from the 32. Atlantic going left to right here in this third quarter. Killingsworth takes the snap, looks to throw, pressure coming, he throws it away, out of bounds as pressure was in his face. Couple of Bulldogs just got right past the offensive line, pretty much unopposed. Marcelo Gonzalez was in the backfield pretty much immediately. Marcelo Gonzalez, nicknamed Skyler, he is an offer to play at the next level from Carthage College. And he's got explosive speed. He's been playing as the left down lineman on a 3-man front for most of the evening for FPC. The other FPC player in the backfield on that play looked like Jared Tolbert, the linebacker on a blitz. All right, 3rd down and 8 from the 32-yard line. Three in the formation left, single right. Killingsworth takes the snap. He's going to air it out down the sideline, and it's going to be intercepted. It was looking for Marion Washington, and it's picked off by Trent Williams. Well, that's the second interception thrown by Killingsworth tonight. He just chucked it up into one-on-one coverage looking for Marion Washington. Washington was matched up one-on-one with Malik Daly, and it was thrown a little bit behind Daly and Washington, and coming over to make the catch and the interception was Trent Williams, and the Bulldogs take over at their own 45-yard line. Now at that point, it's pretty much a punt. You know, you don't like the interception on your record. Preston Roberts back in the game, throws a screen pass to the far side, connects with Javen Santiago. Santiago breaks a tackle and will pick up 11 yards and get to the Sharks' 44-yard line for a first down. Just over 10 yards on the play to Javon Santiago, who's been big tonight. Ball spotted at the right hash at the Atlantic 45-yard line. Preston Roberts again back in the game at quarterback after DJ Murray led the opening series of the second half. Dakota Wagner in as the tailback. Three receivers left, single right, three down linemen for Atlantic. The handoff at the middle to Wagner, and he's going to go nowhere. Nice push by the Atlantic offensive front. Wagner falls forward for maybe a yard. Actually, that's going to be a generous spot. Going to be all the way to the 43-yard line. Give him 2. And it's second down and 8. 6:25 to go, third quarter. Flagler with a 28-0 lead on the ball. Next week, it's a big one for Flagler Palm Coast as the 8A reigning state champion Seminole County High School comes to town. Wagner, oh no, it's a keeper up the middle from Preston Roberts, and he breaks tackles inside the 30. Had me fooled. It looked like a stretch play to Wagner up the left-hand side, but it was an option keeper from Preston Roberts, and Roberts rumbled on 3rd and 8, got about 14 yards to the 30-yard line, and it's going to be an official's timeout for a water break. It's time you feel your best, physically, mentally, spiritually, to be centered and supported, to feel the power of a world-class healthcare network coming together to help you take control of your health. It's time to feel whole. Advent Health is a proud supporter of Volusia County School Athletics. Visit adventhealth.com to learn more. If you are enjoying tonight's broadcast, be sure to hit the like button on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and share the broadcast with other Sharks fans by clicking share or retweet. Thank you for supporting MJT Sports Productions and Atlantic Football. And also, if you're listening tonight and you're a fan of Flagler Palm Coast, the rainy conditions scared you away from the football field, and you're tuning in to see how your Bulldogs are doing. Well, they're doing pretty well. They're up 28-0, but we thank you so much for choosing MJT Sports Productions to follow tonight's football action. Bulldogs offense back on the field. They've got 1st and 10 from the Atlantic 30 after a 15-yard first down run by Preston Roberts on an option keeper. This time, 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right. Ball spot on the right hash marked at the 30. Roberts keeps it on a fake, goes across the middle and throws it way over his intended receiver, Landon Gonzalez, who leapt up on that post route, and he couldn't connect. Couldn't quite get his fingertips on the ball. Roberts overcooked it, and it's 2nd down and 10. Flagler Palm Coast had their first game of the season against Pine Ridge canceled back on the 27th of last month as it's 2nd and 10. Roberts hands to Wagner up the middle. Wagner breaks a tackle, spins away, pushes the pile close to a first down. That's going to be about a 9-yard run, spotted at the 23-yard line. And 3rd down and 3 officially after a gain of 7. Wouldn't be surprised if Wagner takes this one again. But as I said, FPC's schedule gets real tough from here. If you thought Mainland in their first game was tough, well, they passed that test. Here's 3rd down and 3. It's going to be a screen to the near side. Caught. Breaking a tackle is Landon Gonzalez, and he's going to get down inside the 10. Landon Gonzalez just made that catch underneath and is bounced off Isaiah Toby. 1st down, FPC. Inside the 10, they're going to spot it at the 7-yard line. So a chance for FPC to get another score here in the 3rd quarter. Just 4:56 and counting in it. Ball at the 7-yard line. Roberts, a high snap, hands to Wagner, makes a cut in the backfield, jumps over a fallen man, pushing the pile forward. Touchdown, FPC! Dakota Wagner showing some fancy footwork in the backfield to evade Isaiah Toby and power forward, dragging 2 Sharks defenders with him, including Angelo De La Pena, into the end zone for another touchdown. That's his 3rd of the night. That one of the 6-yard variety, the second 6-yard rushing touchdown of the 3rd quarter. And it is, the extra point is up and good by McCabe. So with 4:44 to go in the 3rd quarter, Flagler Palm Coast has opened up a 35-0 lead over Atlantic. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. Stay with us. $35-0 Flagler Palm Coast over Atlantic, as we have 3:42 and counting to go in this 3rd quarter. Running clock here at Sal Campanella Memorial Stadium in Flagler, Florida. The Bulldogs look to be on their way to a 2-0 record, and the Sharks look to be headed towards 0-3 in their first 3 games. McCabe puts his right foot to the football. It's going to bounce at the 10, roll back to the 5, and just sit there. Nate Davis takes it at the goal line, trying to work back to the left-hand side of the field. He's still running laterally. He's going to be tackled. Where do they spot him? They spot him inside the 5. Nate Davis. Well, first off, that was a brilliant kickoff from KJ McCabe, forcing Davis all the way to the corner by the pylon at the 2-yard line. Davis tried to get away from the rush by running laterally across the field to the left, and he didn't get anywhere, and it looks like the Sharks will start at their own 2-yard line. So the Sharks at their own 2. Last week, they started at their own 2, gave up a safety to Matanzas that kind of kick-started the second half dominance by the Pirates at Daytona Stadium. Next week, the Sharks are on the road again at Flagler Palm Coast on the 10th. Let's see what Atlantic does now from their own 2-yard line, 1st and 10. 3 receivers, right single, left ball, left hash. Slap of the hands from Killingsworth. He takes the snap. He's going to air it out to the far side. He's got a Marion Washington there. It's a low throw. Washington has to dive to corral it. He does make the catch up at the 7-yard line. And something that has been much better today from Atlantic has been the passing game. Killingsworth has not had a lot of time to throw. I will give him that. But in the little time he has had, he's been better at not overthrowing his receivers and putting it in positions where his talented receivers, Jonquez Jamerson and Marion Washington, Dennis Gaines, can go up and make a play. Gaines in the backfield now with Killingsworth. 3 receivers to the left this time. 2nd down and 4 from the 7. Killingsworth, handoff Dennis Gaines. Oh no, Killingsworth kept it. Tried to run around the left-hand side, didn't get much of anything. It actually loses 2 yards back to the 5. So it'll be 3rd down and 6 officially by the count of the public address announcer here. Got to get to the 11-yard line for a 1st down for Atlantic. The ball's at their own 5. And since we've had the running clock, it's down under 40 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. So this will likely be the last snap of the 3rd with Flagler up 35-0. Let's see what the Sharks dial up on 3rd and 5. From the 3rd and 6 from the 5, got to get to the 11. They work left to right in this 3rd quarter. Killingsworth with 4 receivers to aim at, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. He's going to go to that 1 to the right. It's one-on-one coverage down the field, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Marion Washington one-on-one with the defensive back Eduardo Luna, and the pass was incomplete. Luna did just enough to put Washington off of his route, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter. So it will be 4th and 6 from the 5. When we come back for the 4th, Atlantic going to punt it away next. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. Stay with us. Back at Sal Campanella Memorial Stadium here in Palm Coast, Florida. The Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs lead the Atlantic Sharks 35-0 heading into the 4th quarter. There is a running clock because the score is 35 or over in the 4th quarter. Even if the Sharks do end up scoring and taking the deficit down under 35, it will just run through the end of the game as we get just past 9 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you all for listening. My name is Michael Trurillo. And it'll be 4th down and 6 from their own 5-yard line, and they're going to go for it. Out of the quarter break with the clock running and whistles, and it looks like Flagler's going to call a timeout. They were not ready for Atlantic to try and go for this. And that's one of the only things that can stop a running clock is a timeout. FPC takes their first one. Play hard, eat clean, love big, and start living your best life, because we're here to help heal what hurts, ease your mind, and lift your spirit with the latest medical innovation and whole person care. It's time to take control of your health. It's time to feel whole. Advent Health is a proud supporter of Volusia County School Athletics. Visit adventhealth.com to learn more. Well, an interesting story tonight was Preston Roberts. He enrolled at rival Matanzas in the spring, played spring ball for the Pirates, but came back to Flagler Palm Coast to fight it out with DJ Murray. See, the senior quarterback with an offer from Eastern Kentucky came back here to play quarterback for the Bulldogs. And head coach Robert Paxia had this to say. Let's see what Atlantic does now on 4th and 6 from their own 5. It looks like they're set up to go for it again. 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Ball spotted right hash. Sharks go right to left in this 4th quarter on 4th down and 6. Sharks from their own 5-yard line. Let's see if they can extend the drive. Killingsworth takes the snap. He's going to pooch punt it. It's going to bounce at the 40-yard line and take a Sharks roll to the 45, and Nate Davis, the speedster, gets down and downs it right there. So a 40-yard punt, pooch style by John Killingsworth, sets Atlantic up. 1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line. This will be the 4th time in the game that Flagler has started inside Sharks territory. They do so this time from the 45-yard line. But as I said, Robert Paxia had this to say about Preston Roberts and DJ Murray sharing time at QB. Quote, "They have not complained or moaned about competition. They've been understanding that we're going to do what it takes to win games. Right now for us, that's them two splitting the time, and it's a feel thing for who's hot and who does the timing call for." Right now, it's DJ Murray, the sophomore, in at quarterback as we look to see backups in throughout the 4th quarter for FPC. But Murray escapes off the left-hand side, gets past the 40 and down near the 35-yard line on a quarterback keeper read option style. Nine-yard gain on the rush for DJ Murray. As I said, it was read option. The running back out there right now is Marion Walker. He's a sophomore running back slash corner, 5'7", 160, and he's getting his first carries of the season. Murray hands to Walker right up the middle. He's going to be met by 2 Sharks at the 44-yard line, but that's good enough for an FPC first down. Gain of 3, needed 1. And Flagler extends their drive. As I heard from my colleagues at WNZF who are also here, 225 total yards rushing for the Bulldogs. This time Murray hands it off to Walker, left-hand sideline. Walker spinning out of a tackle inside the 20 and finally hauled down at the 16-yard line. 17-yard rush for Marion Walker, the sophomore. Still 3 down linemen for Atlantic, who's going to call their first time out of the half. 9:11 to play in the 4th quarter. Atlantic takes a break to talk things over. Well, it was about this time last Friday night against Mainland where the lights went out here at Sal Campanella Memorial Stadium with the Bulldogs leading the Mainland Buccaneers 17-13. The Mainland was driving, they were hanging on, and after a 21-minute delay while the lights got fired back up, they came out and then forced an interception, and that eventually would seal the game. As I said in the pregame show and earlier in the broadcast, the FPC defense last week, fantastic. 9 sacks against Isaiah Shine, the Mainland quarterback, and 2 interceptions as well. Last year, the Bulldogs went 4-4, lost in the first round of the playoffs to Sandalwood. First down and 10 for the Bulldogs inside the 20-yard line. Rolling out, throwing is Murray to the end zone, leaping, incomplete. In coverage was Terrian Edwards for the Sharks, and he did just enough to keep the ball out of the hands of the intended receiver, who was Ethan Rowland. Rowland matched up 1v1 against Edwards to the near side right of the field. And now it is second down and 10 from the 16-yard line of Atlantic. Clock continues to roll, 8:31 to go in the ball game. DJ Murray still in at quarterback. He hands the ball off to Marion Edwards running right. He's going to dive forward close to the 10 and be down at the 11-yard line after trying to dive over an Atlantic defender who just took the knees out from under him. That defender was Jovan Jackson. And it's third down and about 4 after the run. by Marion Walker. Walker is now set up behind and to the left hip of DJ Murray. One man across the motion. It's a jet sweep to the left. Trying to get a blocker. Diving to the goal line. Touchdown FPC. Jet sweep for Jaden Martin. And the Bulldogs continue to pile it on to the fourth. Jaden Martin, the 5'8", 175-pound senior, only had one reception for 2 yards last week. Came in jet sweep motion right to left, got the handoff, made a cut up the middle, and was basically untouched until he made it to the goal line, and he fell forward for the touchdown. A rushing touchdown, extra point up and good from McCabe. And with 6:43 and counting, it's 42-0 Flagler over Atlantic. We'll take a short break and be right back for the conclusion of tonight's ball game. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks football. Late in the fourth quarter with a running clock here at South Campanella Memorial Stadium, the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs cruising 42-0 over the Atlantic Sharks. Next week, Atlantic against Pine Ridge, against Pine Ridge on the road, the 17th of September. I'll be there, 7 p.m. kickoff. You can listen to all the action right here on MJT Sports Productions. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube is where you can find us at MJT Sports Productions. McCabe gets set to kick off from the 40-yard line left to right. It's a short kick. It's going to be fielded by the up man, which is Nate Davis on that return, at the 25-yard line up to the 26-yard line, and that's where Atlantic will start with the football. 5:25 with a running clock, and the Sharks, with a couple first downs, could potentially end the ball game here. John Killingsworth and the entire Sharks team, they've looked at times good tonight. The score, 42-0, yes. This Flagler Palm Coast team is one of the best teams, not only in Volusia Flagler County, but taking in St. John's area as well. They're a top, 5 team in this area. They're currently rated number 5 in the Daytona Beach News Journal Power Ranking. That's Volusia, Flagler, St. John's. I'm not sure if they'll move up this week, depending on quality of competition, but I don't think you can hang your hat if you're Atlantic. You had one really good drive. You got very close to scoring. John Killingsworth has thrown the ball better. Here comes the blitz. Kawasi Kawaku takes the ball around the left side. He's got room to run 30, and he's going to be dragged down from behind at the 33-yard line. So that'll be a pickup of about 5. That was an interesting play. They lined up the backup quarterback, Kawasi Kawaku, as the running back, and then Killingsworth handed the ball off to him off the right-hand side. And he was able to turn the corner and drag defenders for about a 6-yard pickup up to the 33. Second down and 4. Late substitution for FPC. Dalton Shell comes in on the offensive line. He replaces Travell Adams. Second down and 4 from the 33. Atlantic going right to left. 3:35 to go in the ball game. Killingsworth the snap. Puts it in the belly of the running back, Rittman. Rittman with a room up the middle, up to the 40. Trying to break a tackle right side to the 45, and he's going to be down. They're going to say his knee hit right at the 45-yard line. First down, Atlantic. Man, and if the Sharks have learned one thing tonight, it's give it to Jamoris Rittman. He has been electric when he's gotten in space, picking up a couple of big first downs for the Sharks tonight. Rittman will remain in the ball game on the right hip of Killingsworth. 2:56 to go in the ball game. Pressure coming off the edge. Rittman is blown up in the backfield and dropped back at the 40. Linebacker blitz by the FPC Bulldogs. Everybody came rushing in, and Wood Registe makes the tackle for a loss of 4 back at the 40-yard line. They gave Atlantic, looks like the referees are giving Atlantic the benefit of the doubt and spotting the ball at the 41, so it's a loss of 3. .2:13 and counting to go. Sharks trying to get something late. Second down and 13. Killingsworth low snap. He stands in the pocket. Time to throws deep down the middle of the field. Man out there coming back for the football. Incomplete. The ball was thrown into double coverage. Looking for Marion Washington out there on the far sideline. Washington tried to come back for the football. Looked like he slipped a little bit. Looked like he might have been held a little bit. No flag came out. And it's third down and 13 at the 41. As I said, next week, Flagler Palm Coast gets a big old visit from the reigning 8A state champion, the Seminole County Seminoles, coming to town. It'll be a big test for this FPC team and the start of district play for them. Looks like the Pine Ridge game for Atlantic is the start of district play. Killingsworth, pressure up the middle, forced to retreat. Back inside the 30, back to the 20. He runs around, now he escapes to the 30, right side, and gets out of bounds at the 30, at his own 35-yard lines. Well, Killingsworth ran about 30 yards to lose 5, and it will be fourth down and about 20 at the 42-yard line. Got to get across midfield to the FPC 46 for a first down. And I don't think the Sharks need to snap it again. With the clock under 30 seconds, it has been running the whole time due to the 35-plus point deficit tonight. Next week, Sharks at Pine Ridge, the 17th at 7 p.m. That is the Sharks. It looks like FPC calls timeout with 20 seconds to go in the ball game when the Sharks could have just walked off the field. It's fourth down and 20. Why are you taking a timeout here if you're FPC? I mean, there are 20 seconds to go in the ball game. Atlantic doesn't have to snap the ball again. That's a little bit of poor sportsmanship, if I may be opinionated here. Taking a timeout with 20 seconds to go, running clock, you're up 42-0. If Atlantic runs a play, it's going to be game over anyway because FPC with a running clock isn't going to have enough time to take a play. I do not understand that decision by head coach Robert Paxia. I really don't. Anyway, the Sharks are going to have fourth down and 20 from their own 42-yard line. I suppose I will begin my post-game wrap-up because this will be the last play of the game. It looked good for the Sharks early on as they intercepted DJ Murray on the first drive. Here's the last play from scrimmage, 4th and long. Let's see if the Sharks can dial something up. Low snap, Killingsworth avoids the rush, throws way down the field and incomplete. He was looking for Marion Washington, and that will do it under 10 seconds. That'll be a turnover on downs, and FPC will win it 42-0. The Bulldogs move to 2-0. The Sharks drop to 0-3. As a ceremonial slide in the mud by a couple of defensive linemen here on the near side for FPC. A couple of players diving through the mud, making life difficult for the equipment staff here at Flagler Palm Coast High School as the teams line up to do a handshake line at midfield. As I said, Atlantic picked off DJ Murray early in the ball game on the first drive, but then the trouble started for Atlantic. They started in plus territory at the 36, opening snap of the ball game. John Killingsworth fumbles it, gives it right back to the FPC Bulldogs, who rumble forward. And that next possession ended in a 43-yard screen pass, complete to Landon Gonzalez, that he raced down the left-hand sideline unopposed for a touchdown. The other touchdowns for the FPC Bulldogs were as follows: a 12-yard rushing touchdown by Rodney Hill in the first quarter. After the Sharks tried to punt, and unfortunately Marion Washington, who's doing the punting for the Sharks, leg was down at their own 16-yard line. 3 plays later, an 11-yard touchdown run by Dakota Wagner. He had 3 on the night. That was the end of the first quarter. It was 21-0 FPC. In the second quarter, there was no scoring because the majority of it was taken up by a 14-play drive for Atlantic, spanning 72 yards that got them all the way down to the 2-yard line. Unfortunately, a penalty backed them up. It was 4th and goal from the 14, and John Killingsworth threw an interception at the 2-yard line to end what is undoubtedly the best offensive possession by the Atlantic Sharks so far this season. There is reason to believe for the offense just from that drive alone, if I can try and put a little bit of a positive spin on a 42-0 scoreline. Then in the third quarter, FPC started fast. They started after a punt in plus territory at the 35, ending in a 6-yard rushing touchdown for Dakota Wagner, his second. After 2 plays and an interception by FPC, Flagler ran it. Mostly ran it, only one pass play on a 7-play, 45-yard drive, ending in a 7-yard rushing touchdown for Dakota Wagner, his third. And the final rushing touchdown of the night came with just a few minutes to go in the fourth, as Jaden Martin took a jet sweep from inside the 10 and ran it into the end zone. Once again, the Sharks will be back next week at Pine Ridge on the 17th as they begin district play. Once again, your final score: Atlantic 0, Flagler Palm Coast 42. I have been Michael Trevillo saying so long, and have a very pleasant good evening from Sal Campanella Memorial Stadium.